Now let's look at the sensitivity about the constraints. Here we also have the allowable increase and the allowable decrease for the right hand side value of the constraints. Okay. Here we have assembly hours used and labor hours used, two constraints, and the right hand sides are here. 10,000 is the available hours for assembly and 3,000 is the available hours for testing. Now we have allowable increase and allowable decrease, so the availability of labor hours in assembly can go down to 9,800 or go up to 12,800. Within those limits, if the available hours changes within those limits, okay, now here is the key part. Now that the shadow price is valid. That's what the sensitivity about the constraint is about. Sensitivity of the constraints is not about, okay, repeat, it is not about the final values of x sub 1 and x sub 2 or the basic and xp. It's not about that. It is about the shadow price. This shadow price will be valid if the right hand side of the constraint goes up or down within these allowed limits. Now what is shadow price? Now shadow price refers to how much the objective function value. In this particular example, the objective function value is the maximum profit. So the shadow price tells us how much the maximum profit will go up by, how much it will increase if the right hand side increases by 1 unit. So if you have 10,000 hours of assembly labor, if you increase it by 1 hour, okay, the maximum profit will go up by $16. Now that statement will be valid only as long as the increase is within 200 units. Okay, you don't increase by more than 200 units. The flip side is, of course, if you decrease, then the profit will go down by 16. And once again, that statement will be valid if you decrease by no more than 2,800. As long as the increase and decrease are within these limits, the shadow price will be valid. In other words, the change per unit of the right hand side of the objective function value will be valid. Now here the shadow price for the second one is 0. So that's because you already have some leftover labor. So you have 3,000 available labor, you're only using 2,960. So now if you add more labor hours, you will only be increasing the slack. You're not going to increase profit, and that's why the shadow price is 0. So allowable increase is infinity. You can keep on increasing, your slack will only increase. But for reduction is limited by 40 hours. So once you use up all of the slack, then the shadow price is no longer valid. So after that, if you decrease the right hand side value, then there may be a reduction in profit. We don't know what that value will be, and this is from the current optimum solution perspective. With current optimum solution, what will happen to profit if the right hand side is increased or decreased within the allowable limits. So that's our sensitivity analysis for constraints.